going to get off of that deathbed tonight?
Faith healers have been around even longer than snake oil salesmen. Now they're throwing in something that sounds like science and calling it theta healing. And it's been showcased on Fox News.
What if someone told you the chronic pain you were living with could go away within the hour?
The theory is that healers create positive brainwaves that can cure illnesses, including cancer and HIV.
A look into the world of theta healing and the people who say they are proof it works.
Well, there are now more than 20,000 faith healers operating in the UK. But of course, not all of them do it for the money. But theta healers usually charge by the hour. Some of them work here in Harley Street, but others just from their front rooms. We sent an undercover researcher to Warrington to see Jenny Johnston.
Hello, Jenny. Hi. How are you?
Very good. Come on.
Very good.
She's one of Theta's followers. She charges £30 for a telephone call, or £400 for a course in the basics.
Oh, thank you.
The researcher wanted to ask Jenny what she could do for her.
There was a baby I worked on over the telephone, and from one day to the next, the cancer in his stomach had just disappeared.
Our researcher told Jenny Johnston she'd been diagnosed with cervical cancer.
Have you ever had anyone who's come with anything similar to me or not?
Yeah, lots of cancers.
Oh, really?
Colon, lung, breast.
And have you ever had any success with any of them?
Yeah, absolutely. So, but I mean, it's not me that heals. You heal yourself. But I create the conditions.
Oh.
And cancer, in many ways, is one of the easier things.
Well, it must be easy, because apparently she's also healed a man's bowel cancer. Just like that.
And he opened his eyes and we just both knew it had gone. Science can't prove it. You know, it's quantum physics.
Well, how much of this is true? And a more important question is, how do you go about trying to prove it? Well, we're here in Exeter to speak to the professor who's carried out more clinical trials into alternative medicine than anyone else. He's been doing it for 20 years. We showed our footage to Professor Edzard Ernst.
There was a baby I worked on over the telephone, and from one day to the next, the cancer in his stomach had just disappeared.
So what do you think about that kind of claim?
I think that's most irresponsible, even criminal, I would say, to make claims of that nature. They are not supported by any type of evidence, and therefore she's breaking the law. They give themselves a veneer of science. It's still nonsense, though.
There have been 50 clinical trials into faith healing, and the professor says while they might make people feel good, the trials show they didn't actually cure anything.
In one trial, we compared healers to people who pretended to be healers, actors, basically. And the bottom line result was that, if anything, the actors were slightly better than the healers.
And what are the dangers, then?
The dangers are that you remain untreated. Cancer, most cancers are very treatable these days, and that you actually die because of listening to these people.
But Jenny's not the only theta healer. There are more than 600 in the UK, and when we talked to others, we heard similar pseudo-scientific claims. We spoke to one man who now feels so embarrassed about going to theta when he developed an illness that he wouldn't even be identified.
They come across as very caring, with your interests at heart. They claim to be able to cure any disease at all. But every time you go for a personal healing, it ends up costing you £100 for 50 minutes.
And how much did you spend altogether, then?
Altogether, I spent about £1,200, possibly a bit more.
And what did you get back?
Absolutely nothing. It didn't work at all. I feel angry at myself. I wasted money and time and missed 2 years of proper medical treatment. There was never any suggestion I should go back to my doctor, which is what I needed to do.
But you're at a low ebb.
I was ill and needed to be cured. I was desperate.
They're actually slowing their brain down and connecting to God.
This is Vianna Steibel, the founder of Theta Healing. She writes books and she set up an institute of healing at home in Utah. She also makes a fortune training her followers at workshops and lectures around the world.
I want to introduce you to Theta Healing here in the beautiful Bahamas.
But her last appearance was in a slightly less exotic location. It was right here at the London School of Economics.
Now, I've watched things heal. I've watched things heal that shouldn't heal. I've watched people heal that I think are going to die, like in my room. Like, I'm trying to heal them really fast and get them out of the room just so they don't die in my room.
One of the audience even asked her if healing could make an amputated leg grow back.
I believe it's possible to grow it back. A lady in Italy grew back her ovary, yeah. So I think if she can grow back an ovary, I think you can grow back a leg.
One of Vianna's biggest claims is that theta healing can make HIV disappear. Now that's something that might be of interest to the Terence Higgins Trust.
There are people that we've worked on have viral loads that haven't been detected for a very long time, like 5 years. So that's kind of cool.
So what do you think?
Well, she says it's cool, I say it's unbelievable. It's simply not the case. Once your HIV has started to progress and your viral load is rising, the only thing that's going to reduce it to undetectable and keep it there for significant lengths of time is antiretroviral treatment.
So what do you think about this kind of, the idea that brainwaves can actually cure you of HIV?
I think that it is dangerous to say things like that. I also think it is a false claim. And I think if someone is taking money for that, then I would like to see them investigated by the correct consumer regulators. The fact is, we've seen charlatans of this kind all the way down through the HIV epidemic. But those charlatans are more dangerous than ever now that we have effective treatment. And yet she is saying that you can do that with brainwaves. I'm sorry, that's bullshit in plain layman's terms.
We asked for an interview with Vianna about the incredible claims she made at the London School of Economics, but we were told she didn't have time. The Newsnight team caught up with her and her entourage as she left.
Vianna, BBC Newsnight,
No,
we'd like to ask you a few questions. Excuse me.
But this time, there seemed to be a very different kind of laying on of hands.
No. Do you still find that you can cure cancer? Go away.
Then Vianna's husband attacked our cameraman.
Well, I'm going to take this thing. No. Right, we have every right, sir. No, you don't. No. This is Britain. Go on. Are you going to hide from the questions?
Go on.
Vianna, are you going to hide from the questions?
Go on.
It's a far cry from the positive brainwaves that theta healers promised could bring health, wealth and happiness. The London School of Economics said they did not endorse Vianna Stibel's lecture, but it was just a commercial booking. We went back to Warrington to see Jenny, but she wouldn't give us an interview either. Well, this is where Jenny Johnson treats her patients. So we wanted to come and ask her why she was still charging people, claiming she could cure their cancer, when there's absolutely no evidence whatsoever that it works. She said there was no point in her trying to prove that she'd cured a baby of stomach cancer, because we just wouldn't believe her.
OK, thanks very much then. OK. Thanks a lot. See you then. Bye-bye.